Alright everyone, welcome back to the Theta Communications YouTube channel. Today we're going to be diving into the cost architecture as well as the commoditization of AI compute. Before we dive in, let us thank our Theta stakers as well as our Tfuel stakers over on ThetaCommunications.com. You all make this content possible. As well as make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below to boost Theta-related content in the YouTube algorithm. Alright, let's dive in. Let's head on over. I want to give a shout out to the guys over on the All In podcast, specifically Gavin Baker here, who was a guest this past week, talking about NVIDIA and going over whether compute is a commodity. I think they did a really great job, especially with the advent of the NVIDIA Blackwell architecture, right? These very advanced chips. And Baker likens the new chipset as a super crazy advanced car that someone now has to learn how to drive, right? It's not going to be, okay, we plug and play tasks or different asks into this hardware. We now have to relearn how to utilize and drive that car, right? Learn the cornering, learn how to engage with it. So it's not as simple as plug and play as some may put out into the ether of compute being this true commodity. We are still in that early learning stages where we've just been using it as base fuel, and now we need to refine it into its more particular commodity based products, right? But first we have to get through the chapters of innovating those sections. They also talk about a great point on exports and some of the issues the U.S. is having, which is controlling exports, especially on compute power. The big issue is, we've talked about on a previous episode, is you have Aethir and compute power coming out of Singapore and varying other regions. But is that compute power being viewed in a Google Stadia way and utilized through countries or foreign enemies like China, right? And this is where the questions come into play about Theta is hardware agnostic, and I think that is super great, because Blackwell, and even if China develops their own chips, right, or figures out how to copy NVIDIA, make their own NVIDIA, then Theta can greatly benefit no matter what the landscape looks like, right? It is this Airbnb of compute. One of the challenges, though, is figuring out with the patents and the things that Theta has is where Theta's loyalties lie, right? And I understand there is a top-line revenue that you have to follow. We have these collaborations with Beijing University. So it's a question of, will this, come back as a problem in the future? We're going to find out. And hopefully China and U.S. can continue to collab, although it does look that the relationship is definitely strained right now. Right now we're seeing that, in Europe, they have to start easing, and the question is, who's going to be the buyer of those bonds? And it's possible that it's going to be China, and in place of U.S. Treasury, right? So the Chinese are possibly going to be encompassing different reserve baskets other than the U.S., and this poses a very interesting change in the dollar system. So we're watching, we're trying to read the tea leaves of where everything is going here. I think Theta is in a very strong position with the patents that they have. It's just a question of, in my opinion, they're building this business alongside the blockchain with Edge Cloud. And the Edge Cloud is the main business that is revenue positive. We as token holders do not get to see those specific revenues or the numbers and how they translate to the blockchain. And the ideal hope is that Theta is building out a stack of their business with the patents that they have and possible for acquisition. That's one idea that has been floated, is the acquisition of them. And then the question would be is if the blockchain and token capabilities translate over with that acquisition seamlessly and are used within that, right? There's also the possibility that they do a one-for-one on the tokens, right? So you as a token holder get the upgraded variation, right, of the network, and then that doesn't pose securities risk for the acquiring organization. So there's a lot of different things that need to be unpacked as we proceed forward. Relationship with Aethir, especially as they are from Singapore and they are providing compute all around the world, as well as things like iPhone where they can remote view compute, and thus this puts a really hard challenge on the U.S. infrastructure to contain the enemies from superseding compute and pulling it into mainland China. So I hope you have found this video well. I look forward to seeing you on the next one, and as always, I'll see you on Theta Tfuel Island. Take care. Bye-bye.